Hello gamers, welcome to another edition of Tonight on Mage Game Table, where tonight I'm continuing my series featuring my own role-playing game, Delves and Dangers, a Rules Life Fantasy role-playing game. If this looks like a game that would be interesting to you as you watch through the video, you can go to the link in the description below to download your own copy. It's pay what you want at itch.io. This is a solo RPG session, and I am in the middle of a storyline which features the Heroic Hairfoots for Hire, led by Theo Shieldfoot, and he is a cleric of the goddess of luck, Retha. His second in command is Barry Goodhollow. She is a folk hero that saved her town from an undead incursion. That's actually one of the video series on this playlist. You can go back and check that out. This is their trap springer, stealth specialist, lock picker, fenster, sneakfoot, also a hairfoot. And their muscle is Clyde. Clyde is a dual short sword wielding hairfoot who is of a good position. They are accompanied by the Drakes of Sssithisiss. They are leading them to Sssithiss's treasure hoard. He has been forced out of his original cave by dread elves. And so the Heroic Hairfoots have struck a deal with Sssithisiss that if they return the spear that the drow are using to keep Sssithisiss at bay and bring it to Sssithisiss, then he will return back to his hoard deep in the earth and leave their village alone, because he has been pilfering the cows of the village that has hired the Heroic Hairfoots to stop them from disappearing. So there we are. At the end of the last episode, they had traveled long enough that they needed a long rest. So they hunkered down here in this passageway, and they rested, full rest. I rolled to see if there was an encounter. There was no encounter. The Drakes were on guard duty anyway, just in case. We've been able to wake them up. And they have to go through 10 of these tunnel cards that I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this will be the 8th card. I'm saying there's a lot of travel between cards depending on what comes off of my card deck here. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. And I'd like to get right back into the action. So here we go. They've eaten some dried meat and fruit, and the Drakes have gone hunting for smaller creatures. And now the Drakes are leading them onward. So they enter on this map here, right here. And I'm going to roll, since there's a number there, I'm going to roll to see if there's an encounter right out of the gate. 1 or 2, there's an encounter. 1, there is an encounter. Now, I've been doing mostly monsters. Let's see if there's a hazard. We'll roll, if it's a, we'll say 1 to 3, it's a hazard. 4, 5, 6, it's a creature. So it's a hazard. All right, so let's do this. We'll say they're walking along the floor, and I've been pretty much using this is a nice hallway piece that was good for what we did it for resting, but I just use this map below for their encounters in the dark beneath here. So they're leading along, and there are a couple of mushrooms in the way that are like growing, big mushrooms that are growing up from the floor. And the Drakes stop, and they're like, they kind of hiss a little bit, and they try to go around them, but since it's a hallway, it's kind of tight. So they all have to make a DL3 agility roll to get past the mushrooms. And the Drakes kind of give a warning hiss that these mushrooms are not something that the Hairfoots want to mess with. So the first Drakes have they have an agility 2, so they're going to see if they can maneuver passing it a DL3, and he gets an exploding die, and so he makes it. So he makes it around, and on the other side, the other one tries the same, and he gets an exploding die. He only gets 2, so he fails, and mushroom blows up in front of his face. So now he has to make a strength resistance test, or else something is going to happen. And he needs to make a DL4. And so he's got 3 right now, but 2 exploding dice. Oh, he did not make it. So he starts to cough and wheeze and cough, and the other drake becomes very, very concerned. It comes over and starts sniffing and growling a little bit, and kind of looks at Theo, and it's like growling and growling. And suddenly a mushroom starts to sprout out from the creature's nose, and Theo's like, oh, I don't like the looks of that. Barry's like, oh, I think that mushroom deposited spores. We have them around the village I grew up. Spores. What are spores? You know, how the mushrooms like reproduce, but it's reproducing extremely fast. Quick, try draining an entire healing stone. I've heard that if you do it all at once, that that can help cure certain parasites or fungi. Hurry. Okay. All right, I'll do it. He runs up real quick. He's kind of hissing. This drake's like kind of pulling away. The drake's very disturbed. And Theo drains an entire 3 charges on a healing stone, and his whole body glows, and then they see the little mushrooms fade away. I think you did it. Yeah, I think so. And he shakes his head. And kind of moves over a little bit away from that. So he triggered this mushroom, so that the Hairfoots now have to make it through. Now, since one of them has been triggered, and they also know what the trouble is, I'm going to give them a DL2 to make their way past the mushrooms without do it. The drakes have backed away down the hall a little bit further. So Theo needs to make a agility roll to avoid it. And they only need 2, so he does it. So he's over with the drakes. We'll do Barry next. She has an agility 2. So she makes her way over there. Let's see if she manages to trigger. Just reroll a failed die, and she fails, and we don't want to have to deal with that, so she's going to use her daring die. Oh my gosh. So she triggers one of the other mushrooms. Boom. Now she has to make a strength resistance roll or be infected, and that's a strength resistance roll of 4. So she gets 2. That's not enough. She needed exploding dice to be able to get to the 4, and she doesn't get it. So suddenly she starts to sprout them. So Theo runs up to her immediately, drains another entire healing stone, and gets rid of the spores. Clyde, now they can make their way past the other mushrooms, because it doesn't look like those mushrooms are going. As long as they don't do that mushroom, they're good. So, whew, that was horrible. Yeah, the dark beneath is a terrible place. Indeed. How are you? Barry, you okay? Yes, I'm okay. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. The drakes then continued on their way, and they go through there and out the other side. And this one, so there's another hour they've traveled down the way. Another 2 hours. 3 hours, 4 hours. So now I got to shuffle these up, see if there's any more through. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shuffle these back up. So they had 8 and they need 10. Shuffle them all together. So another 3 hours have gone by. They've traveled in the darkness of the dark beneath, lit only by Barry Goodfellow's lighted staff. All right. So, okay, so this is number 9, and they go around the curve, and they're going to go through 1, and we're going to roll to see if there is an encounter. So 1 or 2. So there is an encounter. Let's see if it's a hazard. 1, 2, 3 hazard. 4, 5, 6 creature. It is another hazard. All right, so as they're making their way through, I'm going to roll, let's see. We'll call the drakes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, we'll go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 2, one of the drakes. So, as they're going through, in the light, you know, the Hairfoots, especially Fenster's looking all over the place. And Fenster says, What's that? Suddenly, something drips down from the ceiling onto the drake. The drake, maybe sensing it at the last minute, gets a agility resistance roll to jump out of the way. Agility resistance roll of 3 and exploding die. Okay, so he jumps out of the way, and a green slime lands on the ground and kind of just starts to sizzle a little bit. What is that? Clyde's like, I've heard tell of such things. Green slime. Looks like this ceiling's coated with it. Run! So the drakes start running out the side door there. The Hairfoots run, and since the drakes are first, I'm gonna roll to see if there's a chance. All right, I'll roll. I'll say if I roll a 1 or a 2, something falls on them. All right, a 1, so something's gonna fall on them. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be Theo. Now Theo gets an agility resistance roll. Since they know it's already there, I'm just gonna make it an easy resistance roll of 3. DL3. Oh my gosh, so he gets to roll a failed die, and he fails. He only has really 1 success because I bumped that die, so even if he rolled a daring die, there's a chance that he could do it, and otherwise. So the green slime hits him and starts to eat away at his, I'll say 1, 2, 3 his armor, 4, 5, 6 part of his skin. So it's gonna be his armor. Hurry! So they all move out of the way, and Fenster grabs a dagger and starts scraping the green slime off and throws it down the ground, and his dagger starts to bubble and go. Oh, that hurt. So we're gonna have Theo lose 2 stamina points from that encounter with a green slime. All right, mark that down. Oh my goodness, that's horrible. So they continue on their way, and this is another hour. So for 4 hours, we'll say 4 hours in. Okay, so they get another card, another through area, and this is filled with mushrooms, but we'll see if they're hazardous mushrooms. So we'll roll an encounter. We'll roll an encounter in 1. No encounter, so they make their way through. All right, so that is 10 cards. Now, the way I have this planned out in my head, we'll see what happens. So they are close. The drakes kind of like, they're close. They have 1 more card to get through. Yeah, wait. Nope. It's got to be one of these. Nope. Nope. I'm looking for a through card. There we go. All right. Then. Yeah, it's got to be all through cards, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Well, there's that. We could do this card. Yeah, okay. All right, so they're going to go through, they have to go through this card and into that card. And we'll say there's 1 other through card in between. So yeah, so they're traveling from here, and then where I want them to go will be here, and they're going to encounter something either here or here. Then wait, I thought I had the perfect card here. No. Yeah, sorry, I'm organizing things. Basically looking for Deep Shadows area, and I thought I had the perfect card there for a second, but oh yeah, this is the one. I saw that tread. Yeah, there we go. Okay, no, that's good. All right, that works. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. I'm good. Didn't need to do all that searching. All right, so the drakes start to slow down, and we're gonna roll to see, and they kind of they don't like Barry's light. They kind of indicate to them, you know, they don't like it. So Barry is going to cover it on the top of her staff. Just going to cover it a little bit and just let a little bit of a glow out. Even that was probably a lot, but the drakes at least seem satisfied with that. But once they get into an encounter, they're going to have to, in fact, they kind of move their tails. So they want them to carry their tails. And then when they get into an encounter, she can unveil her light, because they need to go in darkness right now. So they're making their way through here. I'm going to roll to see if the encounter happens here or here. So 1, 2, 3, it happens here. 4, 5, 6, it happens here. It's going to happen in here. All right. And I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3. The attack comes from here. 4, 5, 6, it comes from here. All right, so it's coming from 5 there. Okay, cool. So, alrighty. Okay, so we're gonna have to roll to see if they're surprised. I'm gonna get yeah, okay. And yeah, okay. Right. Okay, and one more mini, and we will continue the action. Shouldn't be that hard to find. I know it's in this box somewhere. This will do. Good enough. All right, so all right, so the attack is coming from, what did I say, 5? Sure. All right, so they make their way around this pond, and let's see if I have a pond thing. Oh, that's good. That'll come in handy. Here it is. Kinda, not really. There we go. That's not really a lot, but it'll be good enough. So they're gonna have to go around this pond. They're heading around here. It's a very thin area. Kind of got to go single file. Drakes are leading, and Fenster's bringing up the rear. And so actually they have to divide up like this. So these two are holding on that tail. These two are holding on that tail. All right, so we'll have them come out of here, this area here. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna see if the drakes sense the danger that is approaching the party, or any of them for that matter. If the drakes don't do it, then I'll roll for the Hairfoots. So the drakes have that, but they have increased senses, so they get a bonus for this. And they are creatures of the dark beneath themselves. So I'm going to say DL3. The first one does not sense anything. Now we'll see if Theo senses something. He has a 3 mind. He gets reroll failed die. Okay. Just for that, we'll see if Barry senses anything. She does. And Theo's like, he kind of pulls on the drake's tail and says, I heard something. And the drake kind of hisses a little bit. And so he's like, what? And so I'm going to roll to see if they surprise him regardless. Theo's ready for it, but they don't know what direction it's coming from. And they're in the dark. So I'm going to roll... I'm going to roll for Theo since he has the one that sensed it, and I'm going to give him a proficiency die in this case. Reroll a failed die. All right. They don't know what direction the attack's going to come from. He just sensed there was some danger, so we're going to do this now. So... all right, so right at the edge of the corner, these three, the Drake, Theo, and Barry, there's a fire blast, all right? Fire Blast flies out. So, all right, so Fire Blast. Get out my spell card. I don't have all my spell cards in here for some reason. It's kind of... Fire Blast. Wizard spends 5 power points, makes a casting roll. He makes a casting roll 10 dice. Then, blast cover the 10-foot area, so it's 20 feet. So I'm saying it's these 3 right there. That works. And they suffer fire damage equal to the total number of successes that exceed the affected creature's agility resistances. So, exploding die. So we have 3, 6. Both Theo and Granny have 3 agility justice, and so does the Drake. So they only take 3 fire damage each. So Theo is going to take that many. 3. He's down to that. Barry. She's down to that. She takes 3. Then the Drake takes 3 as well. So now that big flare of light lit up this whole area. Barry whips off the part of her cloak she was using to hide her staff, and the light fills the area, and you see this white-haired dread elf standing there, and it is initiative. I'm gonna check the armor of the... Oh my gosh, his armor is gonna be ridiculous. Look at that. Good thing that wasn't the Fire Blast roll. Ooh, that's crazy. Oh, so cool. I love when I see that many exploding dice rolled in one shot. Thank goodness that wasn't the Fire Blast. Oh my gosh, still another exploding dice. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. He's got an armor of 7. 7 armor. They are not getting through that. I mean, they might, but come on. That's awesome. All right, so, sorry, initiative. So Theo, Fenster, and the Drakes will go with Clyde. So Clyde's going before, Fenster's going before, Theo gets reroll failed die, going before, Barry had, wow, that's a lot. So they're all going before the Dread Elves. All right. Barry knows that he is probably protected by magic armor. That's technically usually what wizards will do. So she is going to cast Dispel on him to try to get rid of his magic armor. So that's what she's going to do. I'm going to have to go into my book because my card is in another thing and I'm just not going to look it up. It's easier to look in my book. So I'm looking in my rule book for Dispel. Double checking the range is what I'm checking. I know what the spell does. All right, so the range is up to 30 feet away. Yeah, so she goes here. She spends 4 power points. She has 7 casting. And she needs to get a DL4 to effectively eliminate the spell surrounding him. And right now, she only has 3. Reroll failed die. Oh my goodness. Exploding die. Yes, okay. So she is a... Phew, his magic armor fades away. She's moved her whole movement. That's all she can do. Theo... moves up on the wizard in case he tries to run away. He can take a swat at him. Fenster is like, what the? And so he is going to move up behind this Drake here, and he's going to attempt to hide in shadows, even though that's probably going to be just a ridiculous move. So we're going to try it anyway. So he gets 3 agility, 1 proficiency, 2 for his thievery, and +1 because he's a Hairfoot for stealth. He needs a DL5 because they are used to fighting underground. And he gets 3 successes out of the gate. Reroll a failed die, 2 exploding dice. He is not able to effectively hide, though he is trying. He just doesn't know it. He's not going to use a die on that. All right, so the Drake attacks the Dread Elf, who no longer has his armor up because it's been dispelled, and he's charging, so that's 10 dice for the charge. And so he gets an exploding die, another exploding die, and so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 damage. His armor, he is still wearing some kind of weird mesh chain underneath, so he takes only this much. It doesn't get all the way through the armor that he is wearing. And Theo's like, wait a second, armor? And he just cast that spell? What sorcery is this? So he's injured. Let's see what his stamina is. Okay. All right. Now, the other Drake doesn't quite make it. Gets about there. And then Clyde, the same thing. Clyde makes a double move, gets up behind that Drake. All right, now they have an action. So he's going to spend, I think it's 2 power points. Yep, and he has to make a deal 2. Should be able to make it no problem. Good enough. He makes it. So he disappears. And so that is that. That uses up 2 more power points. All right. And that was his action. Then another Dread Elf runs up on Drake, and Dread Elf runs up on Theo, and they attack with their swords. So, they have 6 dice, I believe. Yep. Okay. So, the gray ones are on the Drake. The red ones are on Theo. Ooh, the Drake's going to take it. Ouch. So, the Drake gets slashed. 2 exploding dice. 2, 4, 6, 8. He has an armor of 3, so he takes 5 damage. That's the one that, yeah, ouch, he's in trouble. And then the Theo, he takes 1 damage. His armor and shield absorb most of the blow. All right, so that was their attacks. And then she moves up and attacks the Drake with a snake-headed whip. That's 8 dice. And she has 2 exploding dice. So that is 3, 5. So that's 2 more damage on that Drake. Okay. Initiative. Woo. Things are heating up. In the dark beneath, things are heating up. All right, so Theo's going before, Clyde and the Drakes are going before, Fencer's going before, Barry's going before. Nice. All right, so let's see how we want to do this. I can get this map out of the way. Barry's feeling like a sleep spell is not necessarily going to do her any good. So she's going to move up, you know, so that she can barely see the spellcaster, and she's going to fire Force Bolt at him now that his armor is down. So 2, 4, 6, 7. And reroll a failed die and exploding die. So she does 3, 6, minus his agility resistance of 2. He takes 4 more damage. Okay. And then, okay, so that was her. We'll have Clyde and the Drakes attack. So this Drake attacks this fighter, 8 dice with a bite. And 1 exploding die. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 7. Minus 3 is 4 damage on that fighter. And so 4 damage. Checking their stamina. Yeah, okay. And then the other, Theo, or the other Drake, is going to run on her and attack. It's not enough of a charge, but still gets a bite. 8 dice on the bite. Exploding die. So that's 5, 6, minus 3. Or no, this one has a shield, so minus 4. So only 2 damage to her. Okay, 2 damage to her. And that is, yeah. You Drakes. You are Sssithisiss. Poor Sssithisiss. He must be desperate. And then Clyde goes, I'll show you desperate, lady. And so he rushes up and attacks one of the fighters with his twin short swords. And he gets to reroll a failed die. And he gets an exploding die. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Minus 3 is 6 more damage. He takes that fighter down. Stabs both short swords straight into the Dread Elf, and he falls. Oh, you'll pay for that, small one. And Theo goes, I don't think so. So that's 4, 5. And he strikes at the fighter that he is fighting with his Warhammer. And he gets to reroll a failed die, and he has no exploding dice. So that's 3, 6. This one has a shield, so that's only 2 damage to that fighter. All right. Which leaves Fencer. Fencer's got to get up and get close and get dirty. So he thought he might be hiding, so he's not 100% sure, but he's not going to take any chances. He does not like the looks of that wizard, but also, yeah. So he's going to move up here, not be able to attack, but be ready to go. All right, so that was his action. Now the Dread Elves. So she she strikes at the Drake with her snake-headed whip again. And exploding die, and exploding die. So 2, 4, 6, 8, minus 3 is 5. That will be enough to send him down. Oh, no, we can't afford that. No. And she backs away a little bit because she's able to get in that position there and give her wizard a clear shot. Speaking of which, he is going to use... He does not like the looks of Clyde, so he is going to use his last 4 power points for an unerring bolt, which I believe costs 4. Yes, and so he spends the rest of his power points. Gets his 10 casting dice. And it hits him. No agility resistance. Wow. Clyde, luck of the Hairfoot. Oh, the unbearing bolt only does 4 damage to Clyde. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Ugh. You'll pay for that. So, this fighter attacks Theo, 6 dice. Stabs at the Hairfoot. Exploding die. That's only 3, not enough to get through his armor and shield. So that Dread Elf fighter misses. So now it's initiative. Everybody had an attack. So here we go. Reroll failed die. All right. Theo's going before. Fenster's going before. Clyde, exploding die. Clyde's going before along with the Drakes. And Barry gets to reroll failed die, and she is also going before. She runs over and uses one of her healing stones to heal the Drake. Okay, so the Drake will be able to stand up on its turn. And then Fenster moves around here and sneak attacks this Dread Elf here. He gets 5 dice, and then he gets 3 more for opportunistic attack. And he gets to reroll a failed die, and he does 2, 4, 6, minus the armor 4. That's only 2 more damage on the fighter. Theo swings his Warhammer at this one. Fighter as well, 2, 4, 6, 7. And gets to reroll a failed die, and has 2 exploding dice. And that is 2, 4, 6, 7. So that fighter takes 3 more. And he's going to hold on to his daring dice. It's tempting to do it, but he's not going to do it. This Drake charges her. This Drake stands up and shakes its head and starts this way. That's all it gets to do. But we get this charge by the Drake. 10 dice with its horn. And exploding die. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8. She has armor of 4, so she takes 4 damage. Ugh. And she's using a snake-headed whip, and it's like, you know, in the air. Which then brings us to Clyde. He weaves in between the Drakes and attacks her. He is not happy with her. Stabs with his short swords. Reroll a failed die. He gets 4 exploding dice. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Minus her 4 armor, which is 6 damage. She is still hardy and hale. And now so he cast Unerring Bolt. No, that was last round. So he's got another spell up his sleeve. So he just has Magic Bolt. So he hits the Drake that's heading for him. 10 dice. And fires a Magic Bolt at that Drake. And he got 1 exploding die. So that's 4 successes. Against an agility resistance of 3, that's only 2. Agility resistance is 2, that's only 2 damage. Alrighty. Initiative. Alright, so Fenster goes before, Clyde and the Drakes before, Barry before, Theo gets to reroll a failed die, they all go before. So if she survives this attack, alright, so the Drake attacks the wizard. We'll just have Clyde and the Drakes go now. So that is, it's a charge move, so he gets his 10 dice. His horn, and he gets 2 exploding dice. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's 4 damage onto the wizard, which is enough to fell him. Smashes him up against the wall, gores him, and then turns. That was that. Next up is the other Drake. The other Drake gets a bite attack, 8 dice on the priestess. And 2 exploding dice. Another exploding die. Another exploding die. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Minus 4 is 5 damage. And that is enough to take her down. And then Clyde jumps over and attacks this fighter. Ooh, reroll failed die, 2 exploding dice. Not great. So that is 4, 5. Minus 4 is only 1 damage on that fighter. He's not quite aware of what's going on around him, so Theo attacks. 2, 4, 6, 7. Swings his Warhammer. Gets to reroll a failed die. And gets an exploding die. And another exploding die. And so that's 2, 4, 6. Minus 4 is 2. That is enough to take it, the fighter, down. So, I take it those are dread elves? Yeah, I've heard rumor. Never seen one myself till now. Yeah, let's, should we take one for questioning? See if they're alive? I don't think any of them are alive. Oh, too bad. Let's loot them. So, she has that, she has a harming stone, which Theo's like, don't touch that. It will corrupt your soul. And Clyde's like, I heard these dread elves have powers of darkness. They should have used them. And then the dread elf warriors, they have some stuff, but nothing magical. And then the wizard doesn't have a spell book on him. And so forth. Okay. I'm interested in that armor he's wearing, but it's a little too big for me. But he's able to cast spells and still wear armor. That's strange. Will wonders never cease? All right, who's injured? I could use a healing stone. So Theo unloads a charge of his healing stone on himself, taking him back almost to full, not quite. And everybody else seems to be okay for the most part. Clyde's like, oh, I'm gonna do it up. So he drains it, and then he's back to full. Barry's gonna take her chances and hold on to her charges. Okay, so we must be close. Cover your light. Same tactics as before. So they're gonna make their way through here. So I'm gonna roll see if there's an encounter, but it's not going to be dread elves as it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, an encounter. No encounter. So they make their way through there and they enter into this hall. They're going down this hall. They check a bloody altar and it has webs and there's an altar to, it has like a big spider female woman that has the body of a spider and the face of a female. And they see that there are, looks like orcs or something that have been sacrificed on the altar. They go here. There are 2 pits off to the side here. They come through here, and they see all kinds of skeletons and so forth. And then they enter into, the drakes kind of like swish their tails a bit. And Fenster's like, they want me to sneak down there, I think. I think we're close to our destination. Yeah, but you can't see. No, I cannot. Yeah, I don't have a spell to help you. I don't have dark vision. Well, I'll do my best. Maybe I can smell or hear something. And the drakes are like, they're like, no, they don't want you to sneak down. They want them to sneak down. Oh, okay, sounds good. So the one drake is going to go, makes a dexterity, wow, agility, DL. Let's say DL4 since whatever's down there is very perceptive. And we'll give him 4 dice. And he fails, but he goes down, he looks through there, and sitting on what looks to be a makeshift throne, surrounded by, in front of a large mound of treasure in a cave, is another dark elf, and she has a dark elf retinue with her, and she goes, Drake, interesting. Very interesting. One of Sssithississ's whelps, are you? So is Sssithisiss here? And she's holding this massive spear that fits the description that Sssithisiss gave to the Heroic Hairfoots for hire. And the drake kind of backs out slowly, comes back, and they know they're there. And so she unleashes her light. They walk to the edge of the cave, and Theo stands forward and says, hello, we are the Heroic Hairfoots for hire, and we are here because we'd like to make a deal. I have not laughed so much in centuries. A deal? You have nothing to offer me. Oh, I'm not so sure about that. We can offer you Sssithisiss. Well, not Sssithisiss exactly. No. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying. Sssithiss's words. And then the drakes turn back to look at her. And his words are, we bring him back your spear that you have there, and he leaves us alone. No, why would I do that? I just managed to get Sssithisiss out of here. This is our domain now. Yeah. So there's absolutely nothing we can offer you? No, I'm afraid not. Well, then Clyde's like, then we're going to have to take it by force. And that's where we're going to end this episode. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. I'll tell you that much. So we're going to set them up here. They're entering in the cave in this direction. I'll set up the dread elves. It's going to be interesting. So just going to use, let's say they're entering in from here. And she is here. I kind of said there was a throne, didn't I? So let's say this is the throne. There's treasure behind her. There are dark elves arrayed before her. There's another one. So 3 fighters. I think we need to add another fighter. Might even have a surprise. I thought I had another dark elf, dread elf, whatever we're calling them. They're called Dread Elves and Delves and Dangers. Another Dread Elf warrior here, but I don't see one. Another wizard, but not a warrior. So here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to mix it up a little bit. And there's going to be 2 arachnoids with the Dread Elves. So she's on a little makeshift throne. She has a wizard next to her. She has warriors in front of her and 2 arachnoids. That sounds cool. That sounds good. That'll be a good challenge. All right. So with that set up and ready to go, hope you'll come back next episode to see how this all goes down. So once again, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for those of you that have downloaded and played Delves and Dangers and have shared your experiences with us on YouTube and Mage Hammer's Facebook community page. Thank you so much for everything, and I hope to see you next time. So till next time, keep on rolling dice and playing games. Mage Hammer out.